Text messaging is been around a long time, and it is part of your plan for your voice carrier on your phone. It is a feature that was available on your flip phones, and it's part of what AT&T or T-Mobile or whatever provides. That's straight text messaging. It's broken down into two different types of text messaging. One is called SMS, or short messaging service, and the other is MMS, or multimedia. That's when they added the ability to send pictures and a few other things. So those are part of text messaging that is available to essentially any phone out there now. Instant messaging, which it's not called instant messaging anymore, but instant messaging is an online chatting type function. It goes through the internet. It doesn't go through your voice carrier. And so if you have a phone where you do not have a data plan and you're not in a Wi-Fi situation, messaging won't work. It will instead use SMS, or just regular texting. Yes?
Which is the one that goes through Facebook Internet?
That is messaging, and I'll get there in a bit. Okay, the reason that instant messaging doesn't work is there's a company out there that has bought the trademark for it, and they won't let anyone use the term instant messaging. That person is AOL, and AOL is all but dead, and so instant messaging is not used. It's just referred to as messaging. That's also been around a long time. The advantage of messaging is there's no charge for it once you're on that network. For example, Facebook messaging, if you can message to other Facebook users without cost. But you can only use Facebook messaging to send to other Facebook users. You can only use WhatsApp with other WhatsApp users. So it's an inside the network type messaging. It wasn't very successful until people got so big, like Facebook and Google and WhatsApp, which is now part of Facebook, that it was practical to do that. A lot of people tried to have cross-network. The two companies would get together and say, we'll send it to yours, you send it to ours. But that didn't work out so well. And it caused more trouble than that it was worth. Plain texting has dropped way off. People are using messaging systems now because these networks are so large. Facebook has, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of users. WhatsApp, there's messaging inside China that's huge, inside Korea that's huge. Now, on an iPhone, you have a Messages app. And that Messages app sends things out to other Apple users, but it also has a default. If it cannot contact you through the Messages app, it will send it out as SMS or MMS. So that's the infamous green bubble in Messages. That's the non-Apple users. So they're getting a straight text from you. So they don't get all the fancy stuff because they're not inside the network, they're on plan B. There apparently is quite a kerfuffle of people not wanting to let green people in their messaging groups. And Samsung then came out with an ad campaign in green letters that said, "Just live with it," all aimed at us Apple folks that are harassing the green people. So we'll let that go. There's limits as to the size of what you can send through MMS. And I think the video is 40 seconds, 30 seconds. Anything longer than that, it won't. Okay. Yeah, messages apps can have lots of different stuff in it because it's all within their network. They can write whatever they want to do. So you can have chats, one-on-one group chats. You can have voice calls. You can do video calls. Depends on whoever's writing that particular app. You can save stuff, play games, make payments, do stickers, whatever the developer of that app and that network wants, they can probably figure out what to do. And different countries have different ones, and they're all on your printouts. Some of them are quite big, 1.3 billion potential users of Facebook messaging. Skype is one, Snapchat is one. Apple Messages can have, actually now they've sold 1 billion phones now. That number's out of date. In work groupings, you can have networks that are oriented more towards getting groups of work together. And Google has it, Microsoft Teams. Who's heard of Slack? Slack is a app that allows you to control groups within your organization, and you can keep files and communicate easily with them, and either as a large group, as a smaller group of them individually. It's really a very good app. In Slack, you can share documents and notes. And it's available on all devices. And I'm not going to show a demo of it right now. Okay, the choice between using texting or using a messaging app. On a phone, iPhone, you don't have to worry about that so much because if the person you're sending it to doesn't have an Apple device, it'll go out as text. But if you're on another device, you have to make a choice of how do you want to do it. If you use Facebook, you can't talk to non-Facebook users. So it depends on your situation, your family. If everybody in your family is on Facebook, it's easy to do because that's the way they communicate. If you are in a strictly Apple group, that's an easy choice. Everyone stays on Messages. So you have to choose what messaging method you want depending on who you're dealing with. The size of what you send can depend. Stay away from straight text if you want to send a 30-minute video. Good luck on downloading a 30-minute video at home when you have a slow connection. But okay, voice over IP can be used on a lot of these. Skype, Facebook has them, Google has them. So now in texting, it's a different world for us, right? We're used to more formal communication, and our eyesight is not the best either. So you need to be careful. If you can't see your screen too well and you decide to make everything in all caps and bold because you can see it, be aware that the people on the other side think you're screaming at them. Because uppercase is shouting. Bolding it in addition to uppercase is very aggressive. And you will offend everybody or a lot of people when you do it. So be careful. It's possible to spam on texting, but highly discouraged. It's casual, so be aware that people's grammar on text is not formal by any means. And they use lots of abbreviations. And you may not understand all of them, but eventually. Okay. There's an iOS 12 and now iOS 13 video on lynda.com, which is now called LinkedIn Training. They bought lynda.com. You can access it through your Cal State Fullerton user and name and password through Cal State Fullerton's website. And it's a little glitchy right now, and it sometimes tells you that the university has to give you permission to use lynda.com or LinkedIn. But when you try again, it says, oh, okay, no problem. And so getting in is sometimes a little difficult. So the iOS 13 version is out there. And I think if you follow these links, it's going to think you're me and want to put in my username and password. So you'll have to eliminate some of that to make it work. Okay, let's do a little demo on messaging. Message app. Let's go to ARI. We've done this before. ARI and not ARI. And there's ARI. Okay, so now if ARI wasn't there, it's going to ask for a phone number or an email address. In messaging, you can use either one. The primary one is your phone number. All right, so then here you simply type in what you want and press return or the up arrow, and it'll send it. If you want to send a voice or another file, you can add that. Hi, Ari. Now I've sent him, maybe not. Now I've sent him a little file that when he listens to it, it'll say my voice, hi, Ari. You can send photographs. If you look up there with the camera, so there's all kinds of things you can add. You can send money through Apple Pay. You can draw things. You can send contact lists. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. And okay, now email. We have 25 minutes. Mail is the usual app used for email, although you can use the provider's website. For example, Gmail, you go to Gmail's website. So that's on mail.google.com. Or you can download the Google Mail app. Or you can include that account in your Apple Mail on this device. There are many ways to do email. You can set up as many accounts as you want in Mail. So you can have your Cal State Fullerton account, your personal account, any other work one, whatever, you can put in many. The advantage of using the Mail is you can have all of them come to one place. If you use the Gmail app or you use the website for AOL.com or whatever, then you've got to go to each individual one to get your mail. If you only use one, you can choose what's most convenient for you. If you use multiple, it's best to stick in mail. Yeah.
How do you get rid of spam in the Apple email?
Prayer. You must know how to get rid of spam. It's not easy. You usually go to the website for, let's say you're using Gmail inside the mail. You'd go to the Gmail site, go into settings, and try and increase the spam.
But under the Apple,
No, you can't from the Apple Mail app. Okay, so if you're going to create an account on the current operating systems, it's settings, accounts, and passwords, and add an account. If you have iOS 10 or earlier, then you go to settings, mail, accounts, and add. They move things with iOS 11 to go to their own password and accounts section in settings. And you go in and set it up. And when you go in to set it up, they'll try and prompt you through. Is it a Google? Is it an AOL? Is it a Yahoo? And they'll try and set everything up for you so you don't have to know all the details. But if you have a work one, you have to know what the mail location is, what the outgoing mail location is. You've got to do all those settings. There are port settings. There are various things you need to know. If you have a work one you need to do, you need to talk about the administrator and have him tell you the information or get him to do it. All right, so let's talk about how the email app is organized. The sidebar on the left is where everything is and how to control inboxes, outboxes, and where to find things. The right side is the email itself, either as you're reading it or composing it. Who sets up folders in their emails? A couple of you. You cannot create a folder from inside Apple's app. You have to go to whatever it is, Google or Yahoo, create the folder. Once you've created it, it will appear on Apple's, but you can't go do maintenance on their email settings from inside the app. Okay, now I customize it a little bit to make it easier. So let's go over and look at email, and I'll show some of the things that I do. Okay, so here is the left side with the sidebar, all inboxes. I have that put everything and show everything in one inbox. I don't care where it's coming from. If you send it to my address at Cal State Fullerton, I look it up here. I don't look it up by who's sending or where they're sending it to. So I've got about 5 email addresses in here, and they all show up in the all inbox. I also created an unread folder. So if we go into that one, those are only unread. The blue dot is indicating that it has not been read. All right, I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to slide it to the left so I can trash it from here. I can flag it, which is nothing more than just saying I want to make this important and I want to find it later. And then the More button allows you to reply to it, forward it, mark it is red. Let's go into mark it, and that is flag it, mark it as red, or move it to junk. So I'm going to say that is red, and you see the blue dot disappear. I'm in all unread. It'll stay here until I leave the folder, and when I come back, the Nordstrom will be gone. The Nordstrom doesn't show up anymore because these are only things that are flagged as unread. How do I do that? See the edit on the mailbox? See the check boxes? So the one that says unread is checked. It's not by default, So you probably don't have that showing up in your sidebar. If you check it, then also see the three little lines? That in IT terms is called a hamburger, because it's the bun with the... So you grab the hamburger and slide it up and down, and you can change the priority. So I can take all sent and move it up and move it down. So in this edit, you can take it away from the sidebar, move it around the sidebar. I put in unread. I show a flagged one. I show an all trash. All trash because I'm looking at an overall inbox, and if I threw it to trash and I want to find it again, which trash box is it in? Is it in my Gmail account? Is it my Cal State Fullerton account? Is it in iCloud? I don't know, because I wasn't paying attention when I trashed it. So I have all trash. So you can go in and pick the ones you want to organize the mail the way you want it. And I can create a new mailbox from here, but I won't do that. And press done, and then this is the sidebar. And the sidebar, as you can tell for me, has got, because I've got distance learning one, I've got my Cal State Fullerton one, I've got my iCloud, and that's all that I've got going right now. I used to have 6 of them in here. So I tend to ignore those and put it up here. But it helps people to know, for example, someone on the university, I'm going to send something to them, so I'll use the Cal State Fullerton one, so that they see I have something to do with Cal State Fullerton. Unfortunately, it's a student one, so they may not pay much attention to me, but it tells them that. So I use that. When they return it, it'll come back in here, in the all inboxes. If you have multiple emails, when you respond to an email, it will, and reply to an email, it will use the outgoing the same as it came into you. So if they sent it to Cal State Fullerton, I'm returning it, replying on Cal State Fullerton. I can change that. I can either change that by, let's take Titan Fund, and I'll reply to it. And okay, they sent it to the Cal State Fullerton one, so it's to my iCloud one. I can change that at any time. So I can send it back from my Cal State Fullerton account. And the default, let's go to our buddy settings. Settings, mail, and my default account at the bottom is the iCloud account. I can set that at anything I want. But if I just want to compose a new mail, by default it's going to come from my iCloud account. And if that's not right, I can change it at any time. When you add new email accounts, make sure that you get what you expect when you send it out. Go and check this. We'll take the Titan Fund, I'll reply to it, and you have a choice of reply or reply all. Be careful of reply all. There's nothing worse than having a group of 25 people where somebody is going out, does anyone know where this is? And 25 people respond with no. And it goes to all 25 people plus the original. By the time 25 people have responded and someone has responded to the response, you're going so crazy about this, you're really to strangle somebody. So be careful about reply all. Make sure you really do want to tell everyone on this list that no, you have no clue what they're talking about. Send that to the reply to the originator, not to everybody. So think about the responses. By the way, if you keep moving spam to junk, it eventually will figure that out and start junking it. But that takes time. different email systems use archiving versus deleting. Who's been confused about the box? You're looking for the trash can. The trash can's not there. It's a box. It's what that particular provider, and Google is one, they promote archiving. So even though you think you're deleting that mail, it's there forever. Why does Google want it there forever? Because they mine that information for information about you. And the longer they keep it, the more information they have about you. So you can go and change it to delete, not archive. So let's go to settings. Accounts and passwords. We'll take the Cal State Fullerton one. I'll go into the account and the advanced, and you can see I've changed it to delete, not archive. They'll allow you, provider will allow you big numbers, but sometimes if you get lots of videos and stuff, you'll run out of room on them. And if you're archiving, it's not deleting anything, so you're still running out of room. So it also, if you just don't want it there, want to delete it, change it here. Mail, mail, mail. I lost the mail. When you create a new mail, it'll ask you for a 2. You can start typing, and it starts suggesting who you might want to send it to. It does this from its memory of what you've done in the past. If you have a person that you know is in your contact list, if you hit the plus, it goes to your contact list, and you can change which groups. Angel season ticket group, and I can uncheck the others, and then done, and then so there's a different list. If you go in and go for a specific group, you cannot add the group, but you can add individuals from the group. It's one of the worst parts about Apple Mail is it's not as friendly with groups as it ought to be. You can send an email without a subject, but it discourages it. That's one way things get filtered. If you send a email without a subject, put in lots of emoji and lots of symbols, then your list of how high you go on the junk, the spam list, goes up and up and up and up, and you'll find yourself getting blocked from someone because you've given too many hints that this is not a normal thing. So try to use subjects, and don't make 80% of your email cutesy stuff with pictures and whatever. Doesn't mean it won't go through, but it gets higher on the list for junk. Let's see. You can move emails around. So this I want to put to junk. If I hold it and drag, whoops, I just dragged it down, not to junk, but I ended up on trash. Okay, so let's go into trash, and I didn't mean it, so we'll select it. And now if I hold down on it, I can move the message and put it in junk, which is what I intended to begin with. So you can move things around. You create folders, you can move things into folders. If you have a folder for OLLI stuff, you may then want to drag it or move it to your OLLI folder. Yes.
Difference between junk and trash.
Junk is trying not to show it to you ever, and it'll learn from junk and send it someplace you don't see it. Trash is a trash bin, and it's not giving an opinion on whether that was quality trash or junk trash. You will probably, down to 2 minutes, okay. Well, let's go back to this and see. I think we're probably going to call it quits right now. Okay, any questions? All right, well, thank you very much.